the Partial Breakaway Podcast with your hosts Nick and Junior and producer Vince, bringing you elite fantasy hockey information to help you win your fantasy leagues and win at life.
Episode 90. We're back.
Season 3 of the Partial Breakaway Podcast. Episode 1 of Season 3, episode 90 for the rest of you. And we are indeed back from a small 1-week break. For Junior and Vince, it was a 2-week break. But, you know, somebody has to do the workaround.
Hey, you went to get help.
I did.
Like you
Thank
it
you
by
very
yourself.
much again to listener Mike, who came in to replace and do better than Junior and Vince usually would do.
Wow.
So big shout out to listener Mike for actually coming on and joining us on the draft episode. If you didn't listen to it, it's 4.5 hours long, but you are more than welcome to go back and watch it. It was actually a really fun episode.
Genuinely speaking, good job, Mike, and thanks for holding the fort while we were gone.
Yeah, so new season, Vince. How are you feeling?
A lot of things happened while we were gone.
Jesus.
Yeah.
A lot of big things happened while we were gone. So I guess we're taking this episode to catch up on everything that happened before we...
Well, I just want to start off the episode
Oh, here we go.
by explaining one thing. Who was right about Mitch Marner? Well, Victor Nuno was right, and Nick was right.
Word is that there's an investigation both here at Partial Breakaway and in the NHL for tampering.
Tampering, exactly. They called me first to let Mitch go to Vegas. Mitch, trust me, go to Vegas.
Good job, Nick. You got it right.
Nick.
It was. They had trade discussions prior to the NHL draft. Right at the deadline, there was a discussion, but Mitch Marner was having his first child. His wife was pregnant at the time, didn't want to move his family to Vegas, wanted to be around Toronto for that kind of big event in his life. So he decided to nix the trade to Vegas back then. And come free agency, you know what? Toronto still got something. He could have walked away for nothing. And we had that discussion in the Llama chat with a lot of our Toronto listeners. And, I was under the opinion that, look, Mitch could leave. He doesn't owe them anything. He doesn't owe them anything. But he kind of did go ahead and sign that 8-year deal. And we're going to get into all the signings now, but it was at least Toronto got something. They got a third-line center out of it in Nick Roy. And
I think he's something they need.
He's something that they needed. Absolutely. I think he's an upgrade on like David Kampf and, Domi at center was playing center sometimes on the third line. Domi at center is not a good idea. Believe me, we know Domi. He used to play for Montreal. Good offensive player, but better as a winger.
But they also, they haven't replaced Marner's 100 points.
We're going to get there. We're going to get there because maybe somebody in this podcast is going to come out with some sort of Michelli 100-point prediction over here. So let's get started. This week's... Oh, yeah, go.
Episode 90.
Joey Juno.
Joey Juno. Ryan
O'Reilly. Good job, guys. I'm at a loss.
Is Vasilevsky 90? No, he's 88.
No, he's 88. Good job, guys.
Joe Valeno, no?
Joe Valeno was 90 at one point? Yeah, maybe.
What about Mike Modano
still.
when he went to Detroit? Did he wear 90?
Oh, because Gordie Howe's 9 was retired.
Could be.
I'm not you might be right. You might be right about that.
Joey Juno, that was a good one.
All right. So...
Yep, our favorite segment, the Odd Man Rush, is brought to you by Sportira. You can follow them on Instagram at sportira.apparel for any sports and corporate needs, merch, uniforms, personalized uniforms, A to Z customer service. They offer great price, great service, the whole kit, the whole shebang. www.sportira.com. Thank you to them for our beautiful merch. They keep supporting us from day one. So big thank you for that. Big thank you to them. Without them, we wouldn't look as nice. So yeah, give them a follow. Sportira.apparel on Instagram. All right. So this on man rush, basically we take news and notes from the NHL and turn them into 30-second takes, which usually take 3 minutes. I'm going to go with this is going to be the longest segment ever of on man rush.
But okay, so what we did is we're taking the odd man rush segment right here in order to name each free agent signing that happened, whether it was July 1st or a little bit after July 1st. There's some big ones to talk about. Did I see Nick Anderson here?
Yeah, he's there.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. All right. So let's start with the most expensive or the least expensive. How do you want to go, Junior?
Let's go least expensive.
Okay. So this is good for fantasy drafts.
Yeah,
right?
these might be some good bargaining contracts, some good cheapos to have, for teams that are tight on the cap like me.
Yeah, salary cap leagues. This is going to be for you.
And forgive me if I get the team they signed with wrong, because some of these guys I didn't even know signed.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
All right. So Maxim Shabanov, 1 year, $975,000 with the New York Islanders. Wow. Because the reason I wasn't sure about that one is because for a long time he was touted to go to Philadelphia. But the Islanders get him. Some great work by Darsh this offseason. That's one of the many good things he's done. Guys, what do we think of Maxim Shabanov, 1 year, $970K?
So I think it's very important that Shabanov went to the Islanders. Why? Because the Islanders is a team that desperately needs offense. And they don't have, under Lou Lamoriello, they had a bunch of two-way players and they would never score. So this is very important for them to actually have somebody that could score. Now, he's 5'8". He had 67 points in 65 games in the KHL. I'm not expecting a point per game pace in the NHL, but he was a highly touted player that came over from the KHL. And this is the second time in a row that they get a highly touted player from the KHL, because there's another guy that they did last year who was
Tsiplikov.
That's right.
Which he had come from 47 points in 65 games with Spartak Moscow.
So Shabanov has more offense than
Tsiplikov. The reason I mentioned it is just because in 77 games last year, he had 35 points in the NHL.
That's right.
Tsiplikov. So we're not expecting a Panarin here, I guess, right?
No, but so if you take a look at their daily face-offs, I mean, Shabanov right now is on the third line with Gabriel Pajot and Anthony Duclair. I see him more as somebody that could play on that second line in that top six, because he is an offensive dynamo. I don't know how much defense he's going to provide you, but he's an offensive dynamo. So I'm expecting him to be up there in the top six. Anything else to mention about him?
I feel it'll be a bit like Tsiplikov signing. Islanders are very dry on offense, so he'll get his opportunities to get the points. I mean, I think Ottawa is going to give him the opportunity to be in the top six for sure. But I'm not expecting 7. I mean, between a 50 and a 60-point season for his first season, I think would be a good season.
Yeah, look, 975,000. So this is
like 50, 60. Rookie, basically like what we expect from rookies, first year from rookies.
You're going to the thrift shop and you're trying to find things that are cheap that might actually be better than what the price is currently. So
exactly.
All right, sticking with the Islanders, newly acquired in the Dobson trade, Emil Heineman signs 2 years, $1.1 million. What do we make of this? I mean, I personally, I loved him as a Montreal Canadian, not necessarily as a huge point producer. I just love what he provided. But he had one of the best shots on the Montreal team at the time.
He has a great shot.
He had 20 goals at the end by year end, if I'm not mistaken. That's missing. And he was on fire. He was playing third, fourth line.
No, he had 10 goals.
10 goals?
Yeah. So Emil Heineman had 10 goals, 8 assists.
In 62 games. After getting hit by a car. And, I mean, you saw things slow down. Yeah, you saw things slow down. But listen, he's going to be 24. He's got the shot. I don't think he had the opportunity in Montreal because of everybody we had on the wing. So I think this is the best landing spot for him, because they need someone who can shoot the puck. If he gets first power play, don't be surprised if he hits at 20, 25 goals.
And don't forget, he had 5 power play points in 62 games with the Habs, playing second power play unit. There might be more opportunity for him on the Islanders because the Islanders are lacking offensive firepower. So, and I'll just mention one thing also is that he had 172 hits in 62 games
in banger leagues.
In banger leagues, that's pretty good hit rate.
Well,
So
I'll wave a little red flag because Islanders did a lot of work this offseason. They also signed Jonathan Drouin. They're going to have a fully healthy Barzal. They still have Palmieri, Andersley. So do I see power play one opportunity for guys like Shabanov or Emil Heineman? I don't, at least not without any injuries. We can go on daily faceoff and see what they project, but the reality is until there's a practice, nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
But yeah, maybe power play too, but I find it hard to see them cracking a power play one.
We'll see.
All right, moving on.
In fantasy, he'll be type of waiver pickup at some point.
Don't forget, we're still talking about 1.1 million.
It's a low risk, right? It's a low risk with a potentially high reward.
Some of these guys that we're talking about are not guys that have really shown a lot so far.
Exactly.
There's risk involved.
Exactly.
And their salaries kind of reflect that.
Philip Kurashev, 1 year, 1.2 million with the San Jose Sharks.
Isn't he your favorite player at one point? Weren't you really into Kurashev? When he was on Chicago and he scored all those goals with wasn't that him with Bedard on Bedard's wing?
The first year. Second year.
And then you were like really high on him at that point.
No? Maybe not. I don't remember.
Okay. All right.
Let's pretend I was.
Let's pretend you weren't. So it makes you sound smarter.
Philip Kurashev, any fantasy relevance in San Jose?
I think they have too many young players in front of him for him to be that relevant, especially last year from a 54-point season to a 14-point season, 18 goals to 7 goals. No, I don't think fantasy-wise he'll be relevant. I feel he might be a player you can pick up on our waiver weekly waiver. Like I'm pretty sure when we do our waiver pickups, our weekly waiver pickup, I'm pretty sure his name will come up a few times because he'll go on a hot streak. But I don't feel he's fantasy relevant even in dynasty league. I don't think he's.
Yeah, I mean,
he's anyone you should be picking up.
Like if you look, who's he going to replace on the top power play? Right, like there's Eklund, there's Will Smith, there's Celebrini. Tyler Toffoli does really well. John Klingberg is right now touted to be there. And that's if somebody else doesn't come in to take over. But there's also like Jeff Skinner, Alex Wenberg. I don't know if Kurashev really...
Do we know if Misa is playing this year? Or
nothing's decided
Nothing's
yet.
decided. Eh?
No, but if Misa is there too, I mean, do you really see Misa being pushed off by Kurashev? I don't know.
No.
I don't think so. I don't think there's much fantasy relevance here.
Yeah, neither do I. So, Vitek Vanacek, 1 year, $1.5 million with the Utah Mammoth.
Is Ingram missing the whole season, or was he just?
We don't know.
It's
right now, he went to the not substance abuse, but player assistance program.
Yes.
So after that, we don't know what's happening there. But they also have Vamjalka, who's the one that did all the games last year. He pretty much played all of them.
Yeah, because they had no backup. So that's I put him in there because I think he could have an opportunity to be that number one goalie for Utah. Just like he pulled that hot streak in New Jersey, he has an opportunity. But I mean, once again, he's the type of player you're gonna have to wait and see if he takes his opportunity because. As much as can't even pronounce his name, Nick.
Vejmelka.
Oh, Vejmelka?
Vejmelka. As much as he took over all the games last year, I don't think he had.
He had a 904 save percentage, 51 quality star percentage, like 26 wins in 58,
2.58 goals against.
Average.
It's something that could be replaced.
Average. Yeah, but he played a lot of games. 58 games is a lot of games.
Exactly.
His numbers weren't great though, Vanacek, with Florida and San Jose either. So it's going to be wherever they're going to ride the hot hand.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's it. So I wouldn't be surprised if they even go get another goalie.
All right, moving on because we have a lot of these to get
All
to.
right, another Islander who was already there signs a 1-year extension, $1.75 million. Anthony D'Angelo, defenseman, New York Islanders. Guys, this is interesting because he kind of did pretty good since coming back from. I think he had gone to the AHL, right? After being released and nobody wanted him, and there was so much.
No, he went to the KHL. He played 19 points in 35 games.
And if you look at his minutes played, Roy was using him a lot. I think he was at like 19 to 20 minutes per game.
Yeah, so D'Angelo, the good thing about like Dobson lost a lot of favor with Patrick Roy. So now that Dobson's gone, unless you're putting Schaefer there right away, because Schaefer we don't know yet, but we're expecting him to make the team as a first overall pick. But Owen Powers, I don't think played in the first year that he was the first overall pick, so you don't know. But in 35 games, like Vince said, he had 19 points. 4 of those points were on the power play. He was playing time on ice, average 23 minutes a night. So Roy seems to like him. This might be a nice, sneaky little addition for some team. In the KHL with Ska St. Petersburg, he had 34 games played, 32 points. So again, we're talking about somebody that we know could produce. We know that he's an offensive defenseman, and we know he's a power play quarter. He could quarterback a power play. So other than Schaefer, I don't see anybody else on this team that could quarterback a power play.
1.8 million as your fifth or sixth defenseman. It's not. I mean, if you look at the defensemen, they have Romanov, Tony DeAngelo, Adam Pelch, Ryan Pollock, right now Isaiah George, and Scott Mayfield. I mean, none of these guys are in power play one. Schaefer's the only one.
But
even Schaefer, you bring him in, are you throwing him to power play one right away?
And he missed a lot of time too last year. Do you want to maybe give him an extra year of development?
That's a good point.
So he could be a sneaky pickup for anybody who's in Dynasty League who's looking for like a number 5-6 defenseman that they have to dress. He could be a really sneaky pickup.
What a great job by Darsh.
And guys, like you said earlier, in terms of fantasy, even despite having Dobson last year, he still got 61.9% of the power play.
Patrick Roy preferred D'Angelo, especially the second half of the season.
All right, moving on to Nico Sturm, 2 years, $2 million with the Minnesota Wild. A depth player for sure. Does he get a bit more of an opportunity in Minnesota to show his offensive side, or are we thinking this is just a depth move, not necessarily fantasy relevant?
He's a bottom 6 player, and with guys like Danila Yurov that are expected to come over and play center. Marco Rossi was not traded, so I don't see a spot really for Nico Sturm unless it's a fourth line.
Unless they don't sign him. Unless they don't sign Marco Rossi, there's that second spot open. And Daniel Yurov doesn't start off the season well. But I mean, besides that, I think for Minnesota it was just a depth player who can move up to the third line centerman if ever needed.
Nico Sturm.
Yes.
There's also a Marco Sturm.
Yes, that's his father. That's the coach of the Boston Bruins.
That's right, exactly.
Right.
I'm trying to remember all these.
Did I say Marco?
No.
Okay.
No, you said Nico, I think. But 19-point pace last year.
Yeah.
Move on.
Moving on to our second goalie on the board. Anton Forsberg, 2 years, 2.225 AAV with the Los Angeles Kings. I think this is an interesting one. Quemper, the one thing Quemper has shown us throughout is inconsistency. He'll have a really good season and then he'll have an average season. So if this ends up being a little bit more of an average season for Quemper, maybe Anton Forsberg can come in and steal some quality starts.
Yeah. I think he can. Last year, the biggest thing with Quemper that LA was saying was he played too many games.
Yeah.
And that's why during the playoffs, he had a little bit of a downfall because he had played way too many games and they were trying to find him a good backup, which I think Forsberg has proven he could be a backup who can hold to 20, 25 games a season if he needs to.
Guys, he played 50 games, Kemper, last year.
Yeah.
he had a really good 9.22 save percentage. Really, really good. Almost Vezina caliber. 2.00 goals against average. Again, that's really good. 66 quality start percentage. I am expecting Kemper to keep the number one spot, but I do see him maybe losing about 5
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
starts to Forsberg. Maybe it's going to be like a 1A, 1B, but I really liked Kemper last year. I thought he played really well. All right.
Could be a stopgap too for Carter George when he's ready.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. That may be a few years away, though.
Another interesting one, Jeff Skinner. 1 year, $3 million with the San Jose Sharks. Now, last year, many believed because he signed with the Oilers, he had the potential to play with McDavid and that he would have a resurgence of whatnot. I'm more inclined to think his resurgence comes on a team like San Jose, where no pressure. This is totally a deal that is trade deadline focused, hoping he does well and they could ship him off for some assets at the deadline. I think he can have some decent opportunity like Toffoli did and Toffoli does. What do you guys think of Jeff Skinner with San Jose?
He has to play with a center that's very, very defensively oriented in order for him to have any hope of seeing the ice, because Jeff Skinner does not play a lick of defense.
No. Well, that's why he wasn't playing in the playoffs.
Right? And he still got a $3 million contract out of San Jose.
Yeah, but it's because they need to hit the floor.
Yeah, I get it.
They need to hit the
I just don't like the player. I had a lot of hope in the player because I did own him at one point, but I've lost a lot of faith. I've been burned by Jeff Skinner before. I think he's actually more of a waiver wire guy right now than he is somebody that you own.
It's a low risk, high reward type of person for Jeff Skinner. I mean, 31 goals, 20 goals, 33 goals, 28 goals, 37 goals, 24 goals, 40 goals, 33, 35, 24, and last year 16. So he's hit the goal ratio of the 20 between. I mean, it went up to 40 at one point. So I agree with Junior saying that right now he's in a no pressure situation. So he'll put up those goals, but how many people can we have on this podcast to say I picked Jeff Skinner when one of my top 10 picks and it burned me in the
No, but like he might be available like really late in drafts because he stung a lot of people last year, right? A lot of people drafted him high for Edmonton.
If he's available past round 3, I would take a flyer. On him. Why not? Past
round 3?
Yeah, I take a flyer on him.
I would take a round on him past round 10.
Oh my God!
Round 3
towards the end of your draft. If he's available,
going to be one of your top 3 players on your team.
No, not in a full redraft. I'm not saying full redraft. I'm saying in a draft like LPHL where we're picking up players
like free agents, like a waiver, almost like a waiver wire.
In a full redraft, you this is a guy you pick up. If you have
free
waiver,
agency.
you pick up in free agency.
Yeah. Like in a redraft, I think like you're talking about.
No.
I don't know if he goes
drafted.
in redrafts.
No, not even drafted. He's a waiver wire pickup. Yeah. Anyways. Next,
Gustav Nyquist, 1 year, $3.25 million with the Winnipeg Jets.
I actually think this one might be interesting, guys, because they lost Nick Ehlers, and they need to replace Nick Ehlers, and they won't replace it with Nyquist. He's not the same player as Nick Ehlers, but Nyquist is the type of player that could play a nice role, and he's done it before. So, like in the top 6, I'm saying. So if he's a top 6er in Winnipeg, which is actually a very good team that scores a lot of goals and has great goaltending, wins a bunch of games because of it, which we still get shocked every single year. We're like, Hellebuck's going to have a bad year this year. Nope, he wins the Vezina again. So for me, I like Nyquist this year, especially at this price range. What am I expecting from him? Well, it's very early still, but I expect him to have like an average season on his part, if not higher. And
do you see him hitting 20 goals?
Sorry, I had his.
Well,
here. If you want to.
Man, last year he had 10 goals last year.
11. He
had a bad year
with both teams.
Remember he was one of our candidates last year regression because he hit 75 points with Nashville.
Right.
Yeah.
So
But I'm expecting him to be more of a 55 to 60 point player.
Yeah, he could be a very good depth player.
That's still
for you.
pretty good. If he hits that, that's
Well,
really
I'm
good.
saying if for him to have a good year, I think that's what it is.
Okay, is that what you're predicting?
I'm predicting about 50, which I still think is good.
Yeah, I'm more around the 40, 45, but yeah.
Top 6 in Winnipeg with 40, 45.
Doesn't mean it's going to work.
Maybe, but he was on a really bad Nashville team.
Yeah, that's true. But I'm looking to...
Last year was really bad.
When it comes to Winnipeg, I think Perfetti is going to have a breakout.
Yeah, but
Of course, because I traded him away, right?
Velarde's not signed yet, huh?
No, not yet.
No, not yet. Not yet. All right.
Sticking with the Winnipeg Jets,
I'm trying to find
the
what he signed for.
hometown boy, $2 million. 1 year, $2 million. A lot of it is bonuses, but 1 year, $2 million for Jonathan Taves. This has a lot of people talking because Taves was still relatively productive before he stopped, before his injury. He had one, like his final year was pretty bad.
His final 2 years were abysmal.
But it's Jonathan Taves.
Sure. There is name value, absolutely name value,
I
and
mean,
there is opportunity.
People haven't penciled in as number 2 center, but I'm not sure.
I could see him maybe having one of those Monahan seasons, where he'll put up the points. He's coming back. He's also 37.
37 and a half.
37, turning 38 next year. So, listen, if you expect, I don't think
He should be fresh.
Yeah, but I don't think Jonathan Taves was ever a point per game player in his career.
He hit 81 points in 2018.
Yeah, exactly. So he'll bring depth. I mean, if you hits 50 to 55 points, I think that could be nice for Winnipeg. Fancy relevance, it's more of a. I mean, if you're in a league,
in 1920, he was 70 games played, 70 points.
Yeah, but if you're in a league,
just trying to interrupt him as much as possible.
If you're in a league where face-off is important, then he might be interesting for you.
Well, look, we had an internal discussion to possibly go after him in free agency for our DPR league.
Yeah,
because
Dauber Prospects Report League.
Because he's face-off wise, we know that's where he made his bread and butter. So if you're in one of those deep leagues, yes, but I don't see him going early in any draft.
Yeah, I mean it's unfortunate, but you're right. Maybe he does have a Monahan type season in him, and that means that he might have not point per game necessarily. Right, Monahan had really high numbers, but if he could get close to 60 points, I think you're very happy with that. If you're Winnipeg,
yeah,
I see this going where he comes out of the gates kind of flying, and you should sell high on him then if you have him. And then he'll slow down because a lot of it's
already selling Jonathan Taves. The guy hasn't even played a game yet.
On to another goalie, Dan Vladar, 2 years, $3.35 million with the Philadelphia Flyers. Who does this mean their Russian experiment failed with Fedotov and what was the other guy's name? Kozlov.
But Kozlov didn't really get an opportunity because Torts didn't like him very much. But any goalie,
and they still have Ursul.
Torts doesn't like any goalie.
Any goalie that signs with Philly.
Why are we still talking about Torts?
Any goalie that signs with Philly has a chance of being the number one goalie. It's just that simple. So that's why he's there. I mean, he's proven he can play. He didn't have a very good backup season with the Calgary Flames.
He had a horrible season.
Yeah, exactly.
He's had. But no. Sorry, guys. Let's call a spade a spade. He had a horrible season last season.
Mm-hmm.
He had a horrible season the season before that. He had a horrible season the season before that. So this is not a player that has been anywhere near good.
No, but his win-loss record is 14-6, 13-6. He wins games. As a backup, not as a starter. But
sure, but 898 save percentage, 882 save percentage, 895. That's the last 3 years respectively. Like goals against average 2.8, 3.6, 2.8. Like quality start percentage 56%. That was his best year, which was last year. Then before that it was 40%. Before that it was 37%. So like less than half the games that he plays.
Man, he got paid $3.3 million again.
Like, right? Like, I don't know who he knows or what he has on some of these teams, but who signed him again?
The Flyers.
Briere.
Yeah, Briere.
Well, he is a wait-and-see candidate, that's for sure.
Could be interesting, but I think Urson is the starter there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty safe to say that.
I don't think
Yeah.
his numbers are better than are much better than those are.
Well, yeah, he actually was not bad last year, but
So all we can really say is that he's a goalie. If
For the
He's a
Philadelphia
goalie
Flyers.
for the
Goalie
Flyers,
Flyers,
which
that's
has
it.
an opportunity for him to win the Vezina.
I guess before the season starts, everybody has the opportunity, right? But if don't bet your house on it, guys.
No.
all right, now we're moving on to an extension of the Big Apple. Will Cooley, 2 years, 3.9 million AAV with the Rangers.
One of my fines.
One of your fines. What do we expect here? Is he stapled into a top 6 role with the Rangers?
Well, look, it's a different coach now. And because it's a different coach, that scares me a little bit. I don't know what this coach is going to prioritize. If you look at Sullivan in Pittsburgh, you saw a Sullivan who had a Brian Rust with Crosby. Right? So maybe if
I see that liaison that you did there.
you see what I did there? You see what I did there? Yeah. So if that's the possibility, then yeah, Will Cooley will do as well as he did last year and maybe a little bit better. And last year he had 45 points in 82 games on his rookie season. And what have we said about rookies that get
Sophomore season.
or sophomore season? Sorry, but what do we say about guys that get about 45 points at this age? Maybe.
Yeah.
Right.
Listen, they made space for him. They got rid of Kreider. They got rid of so they made space for him.
301 hits last year.
Yeah.
That is
In a banger league.
And guys, 45,
insane.
45 points on only 15 minutes of ice time per game.
Yeah.
So if that goes to 18, this could be 25, 30. Like this could be
This
50
could be a
to
nice-
60
yeah.
points.
It could be a nice contract.
It
for
could
the
be a
Rangers
nice
for next 2
yeah.
years.
It could be nice.
Next, back to the Islanders, who signed Jonathan Drouin. 2 years, $4 million AAV. Is he a McKinnon merchant? Or is he full value here at $4 million in cap leagues for fantasy owners out there? Definitely power play 1 on this Islanders team.
Yeah. You'll probably
But
tied it with D'Angelo, but go ahead, Nick.
I was going to say, like, he's a power play merchant.
Mm.
That's what Drouin is. He got a pretty good contract for Drouin, but we know what he is from Montreal. On 5-on-5, he does nothing.
Mm.
Right? His bread and butter is the power play, and he's actually really good at it. So he turned 30, so this is going to be his 30-year-old season. Played 43 games last year, had 37 points,
12
of them on the power play. So, and that's playing with McKinnon.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But the problem with Drouin has always been the same thing. He cannot play an 82-game schedule. So, might be interesting. Could be an interesting player to own. But, I'm not expecting him to have a 71-point pace like he had last year on the Islanders.
I agree.
John Klingberg, 1 year, $4 million with the San Jose Sharks.
This guy just keeps on getting paid for doing nothing.
Really,
I can't
swear.
believe how much he's getting paid to do nothing. He's proven absolutely nothing, and you keep on paying him for nothing.
On this case, it was to try to hit the cap floor
yeah,
a
for
little
sure.
bit. But I don't even know how much opportunity he'll get on San Jose.
Well, who's there?
Well, Luca Cagnoni should be a starter there, and he's primarily offensive.
I don't think they're picking up Sam Dickinson. I don't think they're going to bring him up this year. So it's
they just traded Thurn to Toronto as well.
It's Klingberg. I mean, he has an opportunity to shine, but really, Nick, is he is he fantasy?
Well, he is a power play merchant.
Okay,
we just spoke about Drouin doing the same thing. Klingberg, that's what his bread and butter is. He is very good as a power play quarterback. Does that mean that he's going to play a lot of minutes? Well, last year in Edmonton, he played 17 minutes a night in the limited time that he was with them. The year before that in Toronto, he played 20 minutes a night, but only in 14 games played. The full season before that, or close to a full season, was 67 games in 2022, and he split it between Anaheim and Minnesota. He was playing 20 minutes a night again. He was a minus 25.
Yeah, but San Jose doesn't care about that.
Right. He had 33 points during that time, which is a 40-point pace. I could see that being his ceiling in San Jose, 40-point defenseman. If that's worth it for you,
as a 5. Listen, I'll I'll go up to 50 points. I think he can get.
What? That's
Just
insanity.
because-
That's top 10 in the league.
Yeah, but with
defensemen.
Edmonton, he had Bouchard in front of him.
Mhm.
With Toronto, he had Morgan Riley in front of him. San Jose, he has.
Oh, he barely played in Toronto.
Yeah,
to be
but
fair.
he has nobody in front of him in San Jose. So when he was the number one guy on the power
Mukamadulin.
play, but when he was the number one guy on the power play, he produced. So
In Dallas, he was producing on the power play.
on the power play. So you know what? What makes you say he won't? It's not like San Jose has a bad team. I mean, you look at the first power play, and this is obviously projecting before, but you have Eklund, Will Smith, Toffoli, Celebrini, Klingberg. I mean, it's not a bad first power play to be on, especially that there's either no pressure. Like if he goes minus 55, I don't care. I don't think San Jose is going to give
Yeah, I
him
don't think
rats.
they're gonna care.
You know, I don't think they're going to care at this point.
Well,
So
look what it did for Wallman to go to San Jose.
yeah, and
He
then
was having
went
a
to
terrible season in Detroit. Went to San Jose and revived his career.
and then went to Edmonton and became a full out defenseman that they wanted him to be.
So last year, a defenseman that hit 50 points was 15th overall for all defensemen,
Yeah.
and that was Thomas Harley.
Mhm.
John Carlson had 51 points last year. Jacob Chikrin had 47 points. So just to give you a range that
But
I think it's
and
maybe
if you
too
look
much.
and if you look at all those defensemen, look, Mackenzie Weegar hit 47 points, Nick.
Yeah, as the number one guy on Calgary.
So,
But he's a good defenseman. Uyghur is a good defenseman. Klingberg is not.
I'm telling you, on the
Like
power
Montour
play-
had 41 points.
yeah, but Montour was spreading his time with Dunn.
Is
Right.
this gonna be our first board bet?
Like I see him closer to that, like 40 points
Our
at
board
his
bet
max.
should come when we do teams,
Team previews. Okay.
and my board bet will be Klingberg 50 points.
Like Dougie Hamilton had 40 points. I don't know if
Yeah, but
Klingberg
yeah,
was
but
hurt.
he was injured too. You would have had more.
64 points. Yeah, you're right.
Moving on to the Stanley Cup champions, we're going to pair these together. They were co-favorites for the Conn Smythe. Brad Marchand, 6 years, $5.25 million AAV. Sam Bennett, 8 times 8.
Well, Bill
So-
Zito said he was going to do it, and he did it.
And you want to know what? You want to add
You brought him back.
Ekblad, 6.1? Let's add Ekblad, 6.1.
There you go. This is what I'm gonna tell you. Bennett and Marchand, 2 players you want on your team. If you're a playoff team, 2 players you don't want on fantasy teams because I
Ooh.
don't think they'll be fantasy relevant.
I can see Marchand being fantasy. He was fantasy
Oh, he
relevant.
was relevant
No.
to his whole career.
Yeah, his whole career, but not.
He had a bit of a slower season last year, but if he can hit 60 points at 5.25 in a cap league,
Well,
I'm okay with that.
He had a slower season last year because he was on Boston, who had a
Yes.
slow
He's
season.
30. He's gonna be 38.
Yeah. I'm not saying that
Yeah.
he's going to be an 80-point player, but I could see him getting back to that 50, 55 points.
Yeah, but
If he
50,
plays a full
55
season
you're
in
scrounging,
Florida.
those are your reserve players that you're
Not always, not every league.
replacing. But I mean, in redraft leagues, we don't see these 2 players getting drafted.
Like in Lama, he would be maybe like last 2 forwards on your actual roster type player.
Yeah,
55 points. It's about that.
but I don't see them in redraft leagues. I don't see them getting drafted.
Yeah, no, I don't see that either.
What about Ekblad?
Ekblad has to be drafted because there's so many.
They've got Seth Jones.
That's it.
They've got Seth Jones, and I think they also signed Jeff Petrie on a really, really cheap deal. So
Yeah, but Jeff
is
Petrie-
Ekblad worth a shot at 6.1?
Please don't ever mention
Yeah,
Jeff Petrie
Petrie,
again.
I mean-
He's like
Guys-
the worst defenseman in the NHL.
But how many times
So-
Florida does this all the time?
Yeah, but
They get these cheapos that end up being super productive for them.
the problem with Florida right now is they have Jones, Ekblad, Forsling. They have a lot of like these offensive
Oh, you have it in
defensemen.
front of you.
So I mean, who you gonna really?
I don't think Forsling is an offensive
No.
defenseman. Like Ekblad, I think could be.
He had 33 points in 56 games,
Yeah.
Ekblad.
Yeah, that's very good production.
Now,
think
most
just
of
has to
that
stay
was
so
without
healthy.
Seth Jones on the roster, right?
I think Zito just he put this team together for. He knows he's making the playoffs. He put this
Yeah.
team to perform in the playoffs.
For sure. But fantasy wise, we'll see. I mean, I like Ekblad. He's just always injured. And his
or
new
on drugs.
well, his new in a cap league, I think he becomes a lot more interesting at this price range.
Yeah.
Than he was at 7.5 million that he was making before.
Agreed.
At this price range, he becomes a lot more interesting.
A player who we thought would have been traded by now signs a 2-year extension with the Buffalo Sabres.
Avoiding arbitration.
Bull Byram, $6.25 million AAV. Before you guys go ahead, I just want to state that him and Darlene as a pair had really, really good numbers, despite Buffalo not doing so well. So do you still think he'll be traded? And B, status quo, how much production can we project for Bull Byram?
I think this could be a really good season for him. If he ended the season very well with Darlene, which pushed Powers to the second pairing. So it's just my thing with Buffalo is, are they going to be an offensive team forward wise? Like if you're looking at their forward lineups right now, you have Benson, Coolidge, and Thompson as your first line, Zucker, Norris, and Tuck as your second, Doan, McLeod, and Quinn as your third. I mean,
well, Buffalo played him. Like they played him 22 minutes a night.
Yeah,
that's the most time on ice that he's ever had when he was more than any time in Colorado, right?
He played not much power play time out of those 24 minutes.
24% of power play time. So not much power play time. He was getting on average about a minute a game on power play. More shorthanded, like they trusted him more.
Block shots.
Right? So his block shots went up. He had more points than he's ever had before. He had 38 points the year before that, 29. So you're looking at somebody maybe on an upward trend, but buyer beware, right?
Always.
So he's 24 years old. He should be entering his prime.
His prime, exactly.
A 40-point defenseman entering his prime is good. It's middle of the pack for fantasy purposes. So I think he's a middle of the pack fantasy producer.
Mm-hmm.
And there's room to grow. And so $6 million might be fair. It might be fair value for him. But buyer beware again. He hasn't played the full season except last season.
Next up, this is a good one. Michael Granlund. 3 years, $7 million AAV with the Anaheim Ducks. So this is what their depth chart looks like in no particular order because it's difficult to place them 1 to 3. McTavish, Carlson, Granlund.
If he plays center.
If you're giving Granlund, I think they signed him to play center.
I don't think so.
Maybe you're right.
If you're giving Granlund $7 million on 3 years, it's because he needs to be a big part of your team.
He's going to be top 6.
He's got to be top 6.
For that price tag, he should be top 6. That's the way I view this, right? Follow the money. When you're not sure about what lineups are going to look like, believe me, follow the money.
Mm-hmm.
Granlund, $7 million, he should be in your top 6.
I should add McTavish still not signed. He's a restricted free agent, but I don't think he's going to go anywhere.
It's like Nick said, you're not giving someone $7 million to put him on the third line. So,
Troy Terry, according to Puck,
but
Daily Faceoff is there.
You also have Killorn as number 1 right winger. Come on.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Killorn
that's going to go down. I feel it's going to be Gauthier, Carlson, and Terry, Kreider, McTavish, and Granlund. McTavish maybe on the wing, Granlund maybe in the center. Granlund could be fantasy relevant. Last year, 66 points last year. I think he could be very much fantasy relevant if you don't have him or if you can pick him up. He's a player that if it's in a redraft league towards the last few rounds of your draft, you might want to pick him up just to see what he does.
Yeah, I kind of like what Anaheim's done. I mean, when we had a guest coming on from Starcastic Podcast, he predicted that Anaheim was going to be a team that takes a leap forward this year and possibly makes the playoffs. And if that's the case, Granlund would be a big part of that. Again, as a top 6er, and I still think top power play guy on this team.
Well, I think that's the most important caveat is power play time. If you can get power play 1, then he's good.
Yeah,
he's definitely fantasy relevant. Probably the most shocking, signing of the offseason.
Okay, now we're getting into the good stuff here.
Brock Besser stays with Vancouver. The dumpster fire, or so we thought. 7 years, $7.25 million Brock Besser, 40 goal scorer. Yes? No?
Maybe.
Well, if anybody had a crystal ball, right?
Let me know, Elias Patterson, is he a 20-point player or is he going to be a 82-point player? Because that's going to depend on Brock Besser's scoring ability, that's for sure.
So here's the thing. The Vancouver Canucks are a dumpster fire. Everybody's shitting on them.
Mm.
That's not new.
They're making the playoffs then.
Okay. The fact of the matter is that the year before last year, because last year was an absolute catastrophe of a team. The year before that, though, this team was doing really well. Really, really well. And Brock Besser, in the time that team was doing really well, had 40 goals, 33 assists, 40 goal scorer, just 1 year removed from last year.
Mm-hmm.
Am I predicting him to get 40 goals again? No. But if he re-signed there, I am guaranteeing you that they promised him top line minutes.
Oh, for sure.
And
who's going to take that away from him?
It's like we said.
Because he doesn't create on his own, but Petey could create for him.
But,
Quinn
that's
Hughes.
Nick. But that's the key.
Oh, yeah, Quinn Hughes, of course, yes. But I'm saying if you're talking about line mates on the same line, I think he's playing with Elias Patterson.
But that's the key. The key is which Elias Patterson are we going to see?
Well, yes.
And that's going to be based like Besser. If you get Elias Patterson of 85 points, Besser can easily be a 40 to 45 goal scorer. But it all depends on, like you said, he doesn't create his own chances. He needs someone to create for him. So
he's just a barrier. That's all he does.
Exactly.
He skates around, buries the puck.
To me, it all depends on how Elias Patterson comes into camp.
So, just look at the depth chart for Vancouver this year. I'm actually a bit excited about this. I think that they could be the big bounce back candidate this year because DeBrusk, Patterson, Besser, you have somebody that could go into the corners, grab the puck. You have somebody that could create, and you could have someone that bury. Second line, Evander Kane, somebody that could go into the corners. Garland, forechecking machine. Philip Hedl, he could kind of bury the puck as well sometimes, right? So
stays healthy.
Yeah, so I'm not totally down on their top six. The rest of the team is a little bit meh, okay, but they still have Quinn Hughes. They re-signed Thatcher Demko, $8.5 million, which was a surprising.
Are you
one.
serious right now about your
I
take?
think Vancouver could bounce back, absolutely.
But I think the most important part about
they got rid of the reason that they were complaining, right? They have a new coach in there.
I think the biggest thing with Vancouver is knowing that Demko is going to be healthy. Because if he wasn't healthy, they were never going to trade.
And that's a big part.
They were never going to trade out.
Yeah, you could be healthy on tests and stuff, but put your pads on, get into an NHL game. It's a whole different ball game.
You don't trade.
Carey Price was playing healthy. Was never really healthy.
Montreal always knew.
But Demko, it doesn't matter that part. Demko is a really good player when healthy. I'm expecting him to come back healthy.
There's just too many question marks in Vancouver.
Yeah.
Is Patterson going to be Patterson? Is Besser going to score 40 goals? Is Demko going to be healthy? Is Hedl going to stay healthy?
Look, at $7.25 million, that's not a fucking bad.
Explicit.
Oh no, I believe in Besser producing and being super fantasy relevant. That's without a doubt. It's just your take on Vancouver as a team that I was a bit.
I think they could bounce back. I think so. And it's always like that, though. It's always the team that has everybody against them and everybody shitting on them. It's always that team that comes back and shows and proves them wrong. That's all I'm saying.
I know, but
we saw that with Vegas in their first year. Oh, they're going to be
the guy they need the most is the least mentally stable person to do so.
I'm going to ring it again. They're going to get the point.
Whoa.
Nikolai Ehlers signs with Carolina. 6 years, $8.5 million. This is another one. Another interesting one.
Huge one.
Is Ehlers going to be, he's top line, top power play. Yes?
Yes.
Oof, no.
What?
He's not going to play top line.
What?
Do you not know Brendan Moore?
Yeah.
Guys,
I hate Brendan
the
Moore.
The problem with Carolina...
He's like the fantasy killer.
This is the problem with Carolina is you never know. Like you had Svechnikov on the third line some games.
Yeah. He likes juggling. He likes everybody playing with everybody.
Can't keep it.
Which is why there's a spot for Ehlers on the first line.
There is. With Sebastian Aho and Seth Jarvis.
There is. Go. And then there's also a spot for him on the fourth line sometimes.
And then Jackson Blake becomes a first liner.
Which makes no sense. So,
well, let's be honest. If it's not first line, it's Kotkaniemi. So
and Jordan Staal.
Talk about a hit or miss here.
His salary is basically what Aho was making. So you have to tell yourself, can he put up the points Aho is putting up? I am questioning that. I don't think he can put up those points.
Okay, fine. But I won't. I'm not going to talk. I think this is really, really good for Aho.
Yes.
I think it's really good for Aho because Aho could create on his own, yes. But he's always had like a Sveshnikov on his wing, or like this year, Seth Jarvis really came out of the woodwork and really showed something. But like when I heard Rantanen was going there, I'm like, wow, Aho Rantanen, this is amazing. And then when he got traded away, I was really down. I'm like, oh crap! I went out and I traded for Aho. He's $9 million, but Ehlers I think makes Aho better, and I think that he will be a top power play unit guy. I'm guaranteeing you that there were some assurances given to Nick Ehlers for going to that team.
Yeah, at the beginning, but there's too many. They have too many players under that have an opportunity to play that same role in that line. Like Stankoven, you have Taylor Hall, you have like, and I'm not
Taylor
saying,
Hall can't play for top line anymore.
but for
Can't keep up.
Nick, for 2 weeks he could be up there.
He might be for 2 weeks.
You understand?
Brendan Moore,
It's because the way it's all to see how is Brendan Moore going to coach this team. Is he going to keep his star players together and actually make them get gel together, chemistry, or is he just going to start flip-flopping like he did last year and then?
So the thing I like about Nikolai Ehlers is that he didn't need Scheifele to produce. He didn't need Connor to produce. Most of the time his center was Nemesnikov. Yeah. So even if he's not with Aho, I don't think he'll be a bad fantasy
75-point
player.
pace last year.
So
that's top line.
And just to go back, I mean,
not minutes
to Brendan Moore and maybe the assurances that he got to sign there, he was averaging less than 16 minutes a game.
Yeah,
Carolina's gotta give him more than 16, hopefully.
At that salary, I really hope.
And if they do, then it's all about opportunity and Brendan Moore. And
I think it's a bit rich.
It is a little bit rich, but I knew going into free agency that anything we thought people would sign for, you got to add $1 million or $2 million.
Yeah.
Why did Rantanen leave Carolina?
Wasn't a good fit.
No.
Yes.
Because the system.
Yeah, it wasn't a good fit.
Is this system a fit for Ehlers?
I think it's a better fit for Ehlers than it is for Rantanen.
Like we were saying with Pedersen and Besser, if Ehlers fits the system, he'll get his 20, 21 minutes. If he doesn't fit the system, he won't get his 20 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, there has to be some there has to be some assurances, I think, for him to get more minutes.
Yeah. More importantly, he's got to stay healthy. He misses too many games.
Yeah.
Last one.
The richest deal of them all. 4 years, $10.5 million extension to stay in Edmonton.
And for listeners listening, the reason we didn't put Marner on this because we probably shouldn't have put Heineman either, because him too was a sign and trade. But it's because he was a trade, so we have him under our trade section. We're going to talk about Marner.
He never hit free agency.
Talk about Bouchard.
He technically never hit free agency.
Evan Bouchard, who signs a 4-year, $10.5 million contract with the Edmonton Oilers, primarily because of the pressure the Carolina Hurricanes, the Carolina Hurricanes were putting to sign him to an offer sheet.
Yeah.
So, guys, 10.5 is rich, but I think he can live up to that.
Only one thing that this means. McDavid to Montreal.
Oh boy, you heard it here first. McDavid is joining the Montreal Canadiens in 2026, 2027.
There's not much to say with Bouchard. He's a point getter. He'll give you those points. He'll always be top 5 in points in defenseman. This is what you got to pay those players that give you those points. I mean,
I think you're right. I mean, he was number 5 in points last year. Victor Hedman's still putting up points. Look at that. Dahlin had 1 more point than Evan Bouchard and played 9 less games. That's pretty crazy for Dahlin. Anyways, back to Bouchard. Bouchard's $10.5 million. I agree with you. That's the price you got to pay if you want one of these top end defensemen in salary cap leagues as well. You know what? I have in LPHL. I have 2 guys that I'm paying big money, which is Cale Makar and Adam Fox. Both of them top 10 defensemen in the league.
Exactly.
It is what it is. You got to pay. And I wonder what Lane Hudson's going to be.
Not the time to talk
Well,
about
guys,
it.
Bouchard, he went from 82 points to 67 points.
He was still top five in the league.
No, but what's his true production? Where do we see him? We see him as a point per game, or we see him as a 60 to 70 point player?
I'll push it from. I say 70. He should
Because
be hovering around
these
the
guys
70.
making 9 to 10, they're almost point per game.
There's only 2
Mono.
point per game players last year:
Yeah.
Kale McCarr and Zach Wierenski.
The lean's making.
And Quinn Hughes was on
Hughes
pace.
You're right. Sorry, he only played 68 games. I should have seen that.
The lean is making 11 million.
So there's only 3 guys that did point per game last year. I'm trying to see if there was any more that maybe.
I just find I think Edmonton was put in a corner, and it's gonna bite them, not because it's a bad contract, but because you have 14 million to Draisaitl. Next year, McDavid's gonna go to 15. They have Darnell Nurse at 9.25.
They're trading Darnell Nurse. If they want to win a cup,
who's gonna take Darnell Nurse at 9.25?
you either buy him out or you retain.
You can't buy him.
They can't buy him out.
So if you can't buy him out, you have,
still has
that
6
is-
years, 4 years left.
We will
after.
talk about that during the team analysis
previews.
Odd Man Rush.
So before we get into the summer trades, Junior, who's sponsoring this? Junior's not here.
I thought we just said we were skipping it. AC photo boots. AC photo boots. You're that's who you gotta call. No, really, they have they have a great.
Just read the script, man.
There's no script.
Yeah, there is.
Just read. It's right there.
ANC Photo Booth for unforgettable experiences at your big events. Professional photo booth services with a discount if you tell them you are a listener of the Partial Breakaway podcast. Make sure you tell them you're a listener of the Partial Breakaway podcast. Visit them at acphotobooths.ca and on Instagram at A&C Photo Booths. They also have a dry ice machine called Spark Machine. When checking prices, check with them first. They'll probably be less expensive, but service of quality is higher. Thank you for...
Was that so hard?
Well, I'm just saying. Thank you for ANC Photo Booth for this sponsor. So now, our final take, since we're already an hour in. We'll try to keep these short, which I doubt we will do. Okay,
the important ones. Let's start off.
So
let's start with the important ones
going-
because the free agencies we started with the other ones and we barely said anything.
So I'm going big. We're going big right away. Las Vegas acquired Mitch Marner. Basically, Toronto traded it for Nicholas Roy because they knew they were going to lose him anyways. Nicholas Roy, no fantasy relevance in Toronto, but Mitch Marner, what are we looking at here? Nick.
I really like this for Eichel. I think this is absolutely spectacular for Eichel. Mark Stone was getting up there in age. He did very, very well with Eichel last year, Mark Stone did. But Mitch Marner is just a notch above. Eichel is going to have to start shooting more because Mitch Marner is more of a passer than anything else, but he will get the puck on his stick at all times. I think this is absolutely amazing for owners of Eichel. $12 million for Mitch Marner. Yeah.
100-point player. What do you mean? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Junior, can any other player benefit from Mitch Marner right now? Let's say besides Eichel, do you see any player on that Vegas team that could benefit and really like their points spread really go high for next year?
Whoever's on that power play, whoever ends up being on that power play one, they just became that much more important.
Right now,
So Thomas Hurdle, I see him playing with Thomas Hurdle to start more so than Eichel, just because they already have the chemistry with Mark Stone, and maybe they want to balance the lines out. So maybe Hurdle could be a huge upgrade here for him in terms of production. Or a guy like Dorofeyev.
If you're getting Marner, you're not getting him for your second line.
Well, I mean, they're both lines are going to dominate time on ice.
Yeah,
Sure, maybe.
It is a
We
wait
don't
and see,
know.
but we can all agree Marner is still going to be a 100-point player or close to it.
Look, Eichel is not as good a player as Austin Matthews is,
Mhm.
and Marner played exclusively with Austin Matthews. But Can he still get 90 to 95 points? Yes, I think so. I see just a little downgrade.
Junior, we're going to see maybe at the beginning of the season a bit of a struggle for him to adapt to his new system. No, you think he's going to come firing out of the gates? You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Okay.
He's got a full training camp. He's got a full preseason.
And it's somewhere he wanted to be.
It's somewhere he wanted to
So
be.
second trade, I'll put both trades together. So obviously it's our Montreal Canadiens. So Montreal acquired Noah Dobson from the New York Islanders for the 16th and 17th pick in 2025, plus Emil Heineman. And then they acquired Zachary Bolduc from St. Louis for their high-touted prospect in defense, Logan Mailloux. Junior, let's start with Dobson.
I think Dobson, despite having Hudson there, can still be highly productive. I mean, I don't think he's a 70-point player, but if he can hit 55 points, I think I can see that because he'll play a lot of minutes. He'll play a lot of the minutes Matheson maybe was playing too much, and he can get a lot of points 5-on-5. The way they're building this team is they have a balanced offense. And if everyone hits their potential, all right. So, I mean, there's still questions, but I'm saying the opportunity is there. And there's also a possibility that maybe they could at times put Hudson and Dobson both on power play one. And last year, you guys, you were worried about Hudson's size and injuries and stuff. So if he does get hurt, Dobson benefits from that the most as well. So I really like Dobson in Montreal. I think it's a perfect fit.
Yeah, I think the trade was great for both teams. The way I see it is that you do not get right-handed defensemen that play 23 minutes a night and are top pairing guys at 25 years old. They're never traded, they're never free, they're never available. So the fact that Montreal was able to swing a deal for him, and he wanted to come, and he was asking for 11 million with all the other teams, but he ended up signing 9.5 with us. I think that's great. It's great value. I think Noah Dobson also, yes, is Lane Hudson the primary offensive guy on the team? Absolutely. You saw it last year. But Noah Dobson isn't a slouch, and he's still going to get huge minutes. And I think he's basically replacing Matheson. I could definitely see a 60-point season for him.
And this is where I'm going to kill your
and Jay Fresh. If you looked at Jay Fresh's cards, even on a horrible Islanders team with nobody around him to finish, because nobody finished on the Islanders team, they didn't know how to actually score goals, he still was rated one of the top defensemen in the league.
So this is where I'm going to put a bit of reality in NHL fans, especially Montreal Canadian fans. I think Noah Dobson is fantastic for the Habs. But the NHL has been going on for 150 years? 170 years? Whatever years. There's never been in one season where the same team has had two defensemen that hit 60 points.
Mm-hmm.
So
there's a first for everything. Is that what you're about to say?
Yeah. But so this is where I'm seeing where Noah Dobson is absolutely phenomenal for the Montreal Canadiens, but I think we need to push the brakes on the offensive production that he's going to have. If he produces 50 points and is a plus 20, I think it's a fantastic.
Well, last year, to give you an example, 50 points was top 15.
Exactly. And I don't think it's a slouch to hit 50 points. But I'm just saying, because I was very curious to see, because I was listening to people say, oh, yeah, I think Lane Hudson is the one who's more talented offensively than Noah Dobson. So I think with Noah Dobson, even if he hits 50 to 55 points, it's not a bad thing. Like Nick said, you're top 15 and your plus minus is high and you're playing 26, 27 minutes a game. I think it's a very good thing for the Montreal
on a team that might be able to score.
Yeah. From a fantasy perspective,
I'll repeat that part.
From a fantasy perspective, what will help Dobson is he had 13 goals, 13 goals, 10 goals, 10 goals. Lane Hudson doesn't score as many goals. So that's going to help bring his fantasy production up despite not having maybe 60 points plus.
They might go with the first power play as a two defenseman power play.
And because of
the Shea Weber bomb and the
they have
Markov
options.
assist,
They have options.
So Markov and Weber type
exactly.
thing, right?
That's it.
Or, different timelines, but still.
The other one, Zachary Bolduc.
Sheldon Surrey and
Markov too. Markov was always there with whoever shot the puck.
Yeah.
Zachary Bolduc really had a really good playoffs in St. Louis. Really showed up to play big boy. He likes to play with his body.
Oh, he had a very good second half of the season.
Yeah, exactly.
In St. Louis.
Logan Mailloux, obviously, we lost a defensive prospect, which Montreal was rich in. So Zachary Bolduc, what are we seeing in Zachary Bolduc? Are we seeing this guy hit the top 6 in our lineup, or are we seeing him more as a energy third line winger?
He scored 19 goals in 72 games last year, which was his first full season in the NHL, and he hit 108 times. So you're talking about somebody that was playing third line minutes. So let's keep
Banger
it real,
leagues.
right?
It could be effective in banger leagues.
Third line minutes, 12 minutes a night. But I see him as, again, a great fit for Montreal because of his age, because he had a phenomenal season in 19 goals and 17 assists, 36 points in 72 games. He was on a 41-point pace. And I think that he could turn into maybe a second liner for the Habs, especially because you have guys like Demidov, but you can't put Demidov and Dak and Laine together.
So that's what I was going to get to. I see him, if I was doing the lines, I would have probably tested him during preseason as a second line left wing with Dak and Demidov, because it creates more of a balanced line. But Zuk, first of all, has a wicked shot.
Yeah.
Not quite Patrick Laine, but
no, but more to the Heineman level.
Yeah. So he's got a wicked shot. Like you said, he hits. So he's going to create a lot of space for Demidov to do what he's got to do. Doc can create just like Demidov, not to Demidov's extent, but Doc could be a creator and a little bit of a finisher, but he's got to stay healthy. And then you got Bolduc there, who can finish and create space and be your forechecker. So to me, that makes more of a well-blended line than having a Laine there. And then Laine could give you a punch of offense on the third line with a guy like Newhook, who he's played with last year, and whoever else they want to put on Anderson. So I kind of like Bolduc as a sneaky pick, especially at his salary in cap leagues, as a sneaky pick for like a depth move that could perhaps be like a league winner towards the end of the year.
Logan Mailloux, St. Louis. You think he's going to crack that lineup? And as a first full-time, if he does, what do you expect as a defenseman, first full year in the NHL, points-wise? Because he is an offensive defenseman.
So he's an offensive defenseman, and I think if you listen to the trade afterwards, Armstrong from St. Louis was basically saying, it's Armstrong, right?
Yeah.
I got it right. Armstrong from St. Louis was basically saying, we traded for a defenseman, right-handed defenseman. We gave up a lot to get him, but you can't find right-handed offensive defensemen that are NHL ready. So he thinks that he's NHL ready. So he's going to put him in the lineup. Now, is that on a third pairing just to get his feet wet and maybe some second power play unit? That's what I'm kind of expecting for the first year. But sky's the limit, and it's all up to him at the end of the day. He does not play defense very well, but offensively, he has a very good shot, and he hits people. So he could work in the St. Louis team, who has a very aging defensive core.
He had a very good AHL season, and that was despite having a focus on his defensive play. So he does know he needs to improve that, and they worked on him to try to improve it. I think it's going to be a gradual path to being relevant. Fantasy relevant.
Yeah, maybe not first year.
Not the first year.
But in a dynasty league?
But, I mean, he'll dictate that. But guys like Cam Fowler, who had a great time with St. Louis the second he got traded there, I think he gets the benefit of the doubt on power play 1.
To start.
There's still a guy like Broberg who did well too since being acquired. But like you said, the competition is not fierce. If he earns that, he's going to get it.
Yeah.
Well, basically, a bit like Lane Hudson's situation when he started last year.
Not the same talent.
No, but the competition wasn't the people he had to beat to get to the number one
was Matheson,
who had a 70-point season
exactly
the year before, which is still amazing.
Yeah, which is why he was given the benefit of the doubt to start off.
So there you go. Okay, next, the Utah Mammoths, who have finally have a name.
Mm-hmm. Tusk up.
Yeah, and went really up and went to acquire JJ Peterka for Michael Kesseling and Josh Stone. Kesseling, I know Nick, at one point you had picked him up. He was a bit fancy relevant. I don't think he's the one we want to talk about right now.
Well, I still have him in my league.
Yeah.
He's starting on my team.
So,
in Lama.
I mentioned Peterka. Can he do what he was doing in Buffalo and transfer it into that Utah lineup that looks like has a bit more talent than the Buffalo lineup?
Well, I don't know. I think that Buffalo has talent, a lot of talent. It's just, again, it's a shit show there. So every time you're in a shit show situation, you don't perform to the best of your abilities. Now, Peterka is 23 years old, very, very young, 68 points. He had a 72-point pace last year. I definitely think that Peterka is going to have a similar point pace. Like, he could hit 70 points this year.
30 goals?
Maybe. It all depends on who he's playing with. That's going to be the big dictator there. What I really like about this Utah team is that, a little bit like Carolina, they have a lot of these young kids that could perform.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of like Utah in that way. But if he's not playing with Keller, because I think they're both left wingers.
Well, he's going to play with Gunter, or he's going to play with Cooley in the middle.
Yeah.
So they have...
they have some players.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
I mean, his centers are either going to be Cooley.
Barrett Hayden scares me.
Barrett Hayden scares me. Schmaltz can play center.
Yeah.
Schmaltz can play center. Maybe Jack McBain, who they signed to an extension. Yeah, I like Peterka to stay Peterka. I mean, yes, he has potential to be a 70-point player, even with the Utah Mammoth. Do you guys think he cracks power play 1?
Yes.
Genter, Cooley, Keller, Peterka, and Sergachev?
I think he should be there instead of Nick Schmaltz. Because Peterka is just more offensive. He's a better creator. And once more, they paid him. Right?
Yeah.
$7-point-something million. You're not getting this guy for your third line, that's for sure.
And he can finish. So, I mean, if you put him on a power play with Keller and Logan Cooley, who can create for you, and then you have Gwenter's lethal shot on one side, and then you have JJ Peterka maybe there in the bumper spot.
Well,
$7.7 million for 5 years.
Nice
I'll
contract.
talk more about this player, but keep Daniel Butt in mind with Utah.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be a top liner or top 6 this year.
See.
Michael Kesserling, by the way,
yes,
just to finish off, he's $1.4 million. So he does in a salary league where you need kind of a bottom defenseman. He could still put up some points. I was kind of hoping Bowen Byram though would have left, because that would have meant Kesserling could possibly play higher up in the lineup.
Yeah.
I don't know now, but
Josh Stone with Buffalo
middle 6 player might have an opportunity to do a little bit more. I don't, maybe a waiver wire kind of guy for keep a watch list on him.
Okay.
I like him to the 40 points. I think he can.
Yeah, but that's like
40 points. It
balances
really
rosterable 40 points.
No, but I mean,
for fantasy purposes,
I'm just seeing it more as a progression, right? He's going from pacing 31 to hitting maybe 40.
He'll be in a waiver wire pickup a few times,
because he'll be up and down the lineup.
Yeah.
Okay, Philly went to get Trevor Zegras from Anaheim for Ryan Poehling, a second-round pick in 2025, fourth-round pick in 2026. They would have traded Zegras 8 months before, and they would have gotten a shitload more. So Zegras for Philly, what are we looking at? Can he get it together and actually be the player a top 6 player that produces points?
Well, Philly's all in.
Well, they didn't have to pay much. Let's be sincere, to be all in.
Yeah, I mean, there was some debate about Poehling being a very good third liner, and it's not easy to find third line centers. But like, in all honesty, Zegras has the potential to be a lot more than a Poehling will turn into. But in real life hockey, I could see why that they were interested in Poehling as a return. I mean, Christian Dvorak got a $5 million contract. Like, are we serious here? So I'm looking at. You didn't even write the for fantasy relevance. So yeah, I mean, I see Zegras is, if he has a chance, Philly's going to be a great landing spot for him. They have old man Couturier there on the top line. So if he's playing center and if they're giving him a center spot, I think he's more talented than all of these guys that Philly has.
So the reason he doesn't play center a lot is because he's absolutely abysmal at faceoffs.
And
But-
defensively.
But his most productive seasons with Anaheim were with him at center, despite all that stuff.
Yeah.
So if they can find a way to just put him at center and say, you're spending all summer just doing faceoffs, then that's what they should do, because clearly that's where he's most productive. I don't know. I'm not sure what to expect from Trevor Zegras, but he does have more of an opportunity here, and I like that Rick Tockett's the coach.
Okay,
Because he doesn't shy away from letting the talented players giving them freedom.
What I wanted to say was that for guys that were holding on to Zegras for the longest possible time to see if he was ever going to turn into the Zegras that he's supposed to be, well, this might be the best time of your life.
The final straw.
The final straw.
Yeah.
Michelli, you have to talk about Michelli.
I'm going right now. Toronto lost a 100-point player. Have to replace him. They went to acquire Matthias Michelli from Utah for a third in 2027. This could be a low risk, high reward type of player, or is this just a 50 to 55 point player that we're looking at? He'll just take half of Marner's points.
Well, he had 18 points last year in 55 games, but the year before that, he had 57 points in 82 games. And that's the year that I had noticed him for the first time, really, because he is a 5'11", not very big player, but he's entering his prime. It's a good bet for Toronto because he's not going to cost them that much money. And he's a setup guy. That's what he does. So he's not as good as Marner, but he could set people up. I see him playing with Matthews and Nice because neither of those guys are really setup guys. Like, both of those guys are finishers for me. So Michelli, if he plays on the top line, does he have fantasy relevance? Yeah. He could hit 65 points, I think, playing on that top line, just because he's going to become the new Matthews merchant. Right? That's what. So, but here's the risk now. What if he doesn't play with Matthews? What if I'm wrong? What if he plays with
Tavares and
old man
Nylander?
Tavares and Domi plays with Matthews?
It's first line or third line. I don't think
that's the problem.
But even at the third line, I mean, if he could hit 50, 60 points in a cap league at his salary,
You
it's
think he
not
could hit
so
60
bad.
points on a third line?
No. No.
Okay then.
But
there goes your argument, Junior.
yeah, this is really like
there's a
hit or
wide
miss.
level.
Yeah.
Of
This could be a
variance here.
strikeout or a grand slam. Like, that's what it's going to
Yeah.
be with Toronto. So it'll be very if you have Michelle in your team, you hold on to him.
Are you guys not worried about Toronto?
100%. But that's later
I am
on.
not worried about Toronto.
This is Junior. This is in team.
Exactly.
Stop going into other things. Jizui. Okay. So listen, whenever there's a goalie available, there's only one team that's going to pick them up. That's the Detroit Red Wings, my friends. Detroit Red Wings. They pick up Gibson.
Every goalie there is.
I think it's their 7th goalie in their organization right now. Gibson to Detroit for a 2nd round pick and a 4th round pick, and Mrazek. Gibson finally got out of Anaheim after 6 years that he wanted to get
You know
out.
what? I would have maybe been like, wow, finally, guys pick him up, but he went to Detroit. So
Okay, so what are we looking at age-wise for Gibson right now?
32 years old.
Okay, 32. So for a goalie, that's not bad.
2 years
Bobrovsky,
left,
yeah.
6.4.
So
Not horrible.
can he be a goalie that gets you those important points to compete for top spot?
Detroit goaltending was absolutely abysmal.
I mean, Nick, you're being nice when you say that.
Yeah.
You're being nice.
Gibson had so much promise for so long, but he basically staggered in Anaheim while Anaheim was doing a full rebuild. They kept him. They never traded him. And they always wanted more. Okay, they finally did it. Now that he's an old man. But they finally did it. I like Gibson. I think this is what he was been waiting for so long. I think he's going to be very motivated to play for the Detroit Red Wings. And I think Detroit has a better team than Anaheim. Even with Anaheim's most recent moves, I think Detroit has a better team. So the guy was on Anaheim, a really poor Anaheim team. He still had 51% quality start percentages. So, 9-12 save percentage last year, but only in 29 games because he was injured.
Yeah.
So, if he could stay healthy, I still think this is a big get for Detroit. Would I go out there to get him? I mean, in a redraft league, maybe he is my second goalie.
Maybe.
I'm not comfortable, but let's try.
Thumbs up. Junior?
Let's try.
I don't know. I think
All right.
I think this was I think Detroit did this because they couldn't get the big fish on at forward. They were planning to go after Marner. They didn't get to do that. There was someone else they went after that they couldn't get. So I think their plan CD was let's go get a goalie. I'm not sure that's exactly what they need, but I don't know. I don't even know if I agree with you that they have a better team on paper than Anaheim.
But that's
They're top tier, yes, but not as a team.
Yeah,
But
I like Detroit's defense more, and that's hard to say. But
it's they're very similar actually. But
they're very similar teams. You're right. Like
their defense guys. They have
Lucas
Sider,
Raymond. I love Lucas
Edvinson.
Raymond.
They're gonna have Sandin Pelika.
yeah, but they got Justin Hole,
Yeah, but still, just also. But
Bernard Docker.
do you think this is just a segue to give Kosa another 2 years before he comes in and becomes their number one? Like Montreal, you know how they're saying Montreal, we just need a second line centerman, an older guy, second line center for the next 2-3 years,
Like
so
a
that
stopgap.
Yeah, stopgap. So do you think this could be a stopgap for Kosa to come in?
I think this was
could
more a
be.
move to try to make the playoffs than it was a stopgap.
Okay.
It could serve for both eventually, but I think this was a
Kosa's
move.
having really good numbers in the AHL, right?
Yeah,
9-11 save percentage,
but that's why at
9-13 save percentage.
one point you can't keep a player like that in the AHL. So it'll be an interesting story in Detroit.
They could split time.
But
season.
but that's what I'm saying. Like you give him another year, you give Kosa another year in the AHL. Gibson could be your starter this year, and then next year you split time
1A, 1B type.
1A, 1B.
Okay.
And it'll be the best goaltending tandem that they've had in years.
We won't take much on this trade. It's prospect for prospects, but highly touted prospects. Isaac Howard to Edmonton for Sam Riley.
Hobie Baker winner.
Yeah, Isaac Howard. Can he crack the Edmonton needs low salaries on their lineup? So can he crack that lineup and be efficient?
Yes.
I think that was that was a guarantee because the reason he didn't stay with Tampa was because they weren't guaranteed. They wanted him to go to AHL.
Okay.
So if he went to Edmonton and he's signing there, it's because they guaranteed him NHL.
Okay.
So, my question to you guys would be more like, is this more of he might play with McDavid, let's draft him, or do we actually sincerely think he can have a big future?
We need to stop saying this. He plays with Crosby, let's draft him. He plays with McKinnon, let's draft him. He plays with McDavid, we gotta stop. You gotta be good. Yes, Nick.
If he's not playing with McDavid, he's playing with Draisaitl. So sign me up.
Well, this is an easier risk at less than $1 million, right?
100%. Who are they going to put? Trent Frederick? Like, come on, guys. Who are they? Podkolzin?
Oh man,
Isaac Howard has the ability to bury the puck. That's what he's known for. I think that anybody that owns Isaac Howard is laughing right now.
Finally, since Carolina struck out on Evan Bouchard, they threatened another team to offer their defenseman, which was the Rangers. They threatened to offer Keandre Miller, so then they came up with a trade. Keandre Miller for a second-round pick in 2026, conditional first pick in 2026 or 2027, and Scott Morrow to the Rangers. Keandre Miller hasn't been fantasy relevant since he's been in the NHL. Scott Morrow had
some upside.
Yeah, has a high upside, but do you see any of these guys breaking through fantasy-wise?
Okay, so there was one person I read, and I think he just said it for like it was clickbait, but he was saying how Keandre Miller is more important and better player. What did he say? More important? I think it was more important to Carolina.
It was a more important acquisition than the Dobson one.
Than Dobson to Montreal. And I didn't read the article because I think that's the stupidest thing.
It
I've
was a
ever heard.
video, I think.
You can't compare like a first pairing defenseman to a second pairing defenseman, and that's who Keandre Miller is. He's a second pairing defenseman. Does he have the ability to be fantasy relevant? Well, Keandre Miller so far in his career, and yes, Adam Fox was ahead of him in New York, has had point paces of 30, 31, 45. So below middle of the pack. So we're talking about the bottom side of the fantasy relevance. What he does do well is that he plays 21 minutes a night. Still not as much as Dobson, but he does block 110 shots. So yes. in a banger league, 146 hits, 117 shots, 107 hits, 110 blocks. Right in a banger league,
he could be helpful.
He could be absolutely helpful. In real life, he could be absolutely helpful on a second pairing. I just don't see him being fantasy relevant in a points only league, and this salary for what he's bringing is not giving me any hope that he's going to be better in a
like Junior. Just to let you know,
league, right?
Jacob Slavin, Gottisberg, Nikishin, like these are all players that are going to be.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get power play time. I think he's more of a 5-on-5 producer, but like. The last time the Rangers sent a defenseman to the Carolina Hurricanes was Brady Shea. And he didn't get power play time much in Carolina, and he was still able to succeed and got himself a nice contract to go to Nashville and then
to suck.
7.5 million.
But yeah, no, for me it's rich. It's rich in cap leagues. I don't know if I'm touching that. It's too risky.
No, not in cap leagues.
Scott Morrow, New York Rangers. Is he gonna have a shot? Is he?
Well, they only had Fox that could do anything offensively.
So is he better off with a Rangers uniform than a Carolina uniform? If you're a Scott Morrow owner.
Yeah, because in Carolina he wasn't. Well, he only played 14 games, so didn't really have much of an opportunity. But I like him. I like him in the Rangers. I think he has more opportunity there other than Adam Fox. There's no one in this lineup or in this prospect pool that I think outdo him. So give me Scott Morrow over Keandre Miller in a fantasy.
Yeah. Any big RFA signings that you want to just throw out there
that are left? Big names. I mean, listen, you have Velarde, McTavish, Luke Hughes, Marco Rossi. Those are the big names. Riker Evans with Seattle. Two might be a big name, but it's wait and see.
Dostal too. Yeah, that's two big contracts. Anaheim.
Yeah.
So it's a wait and see for RFAs. It'll be interesting this summer. It's not over, that's for sure.
Guys, this was episode 1 of season 3. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had fun. Please like, subscribe, give us a 5-star review. We're gonna keep rolling. We're gonna keep doing this, and hopefully these two guys are not as jet lagged next week. All right.
Oh,
we'll be better next week.
Have a good night, peeps.